Welcome back. It's been a minute since I've made a video. I had to take a little bit of a break from the motorcycles because I'm dealing with a bit of a leg injury. Basically, back when I had my initial accident, I had shattered my right foot and ankle and had a spinal injury that kind of affected the sensation in my legs. So over time, I've kind of developed this limp. My gait has been off, and what it's done, I guess, over the years is it's kind of twisted my spine a little bit, and I come crashing down on the left leg a lot harder, and it's caused some injury to the muscles and tendons and stuff in there. So been working with the doctors and physical therapy on that, and they basically told me, they said, we're not going to tell you to not ride, but we would prefer if you hold off on riding the bike just until we get that figured out to determine if I need surgery or whatever. So that's why I haven't been riding. Unfortunately, it's been a wonderful riding season and I've been missing out, but that's fine. I've been getting out in the truck, off-roading, overlanding, camping, a lot of outdoor adventures, and I've been getting a lot of questions about my setup and how I'm able to do it. So I figured I'd make this video to kind of explain the setup, show you how I set it up, show you how I tear the campsite down, and yeah, let's get at it here. We're going to start with this awning. This is made by Kammok, K-A-M-M-O-K. It is an automatic retractable awning. I did a ton of research on these awnings. Most of them have a little zipper bag, and it basically rolls out and you set up the poles, and then of course to tear it down you pull the poles off, and then you've got to roll it back up and then zip the bag back up, which obviously is a little bit of a challenge for me. So the market for auto retracting awnings is very small. There's not a whole lot of them out there. This Kammok is at the top of the price point, but I ended up convincing myself to give it a try, and so far it has been absolutely amazing. It's been everything I'd hoped it would be. People have concerns about the durability of this unit, but I assure you, I've looked at all the components. It's a pretty foolproof retractable mechanism inside, and then all the rest of the components are really heavy duty and durable and easily replaceable if anything should get damaged. So I've got a lot of confidence. I think it was designed very well. And it's really simple for me to use. Basically, we start by popping these little snaps. This little lever puts it in basically free spool. Grab onto it. Pull it out. You probably heard that first set of clicks. That's if I wanted just a short awning. The middle set of clicks is the mid, and then it's got the third set, which is a lot longer. I think it goes out to like 9 feet or something, which I usually just put it right at this mid setting. This is really all I need for a little bit of sunshade and protection from any rain that would come in. So you notice it's pretty loose and floppy right now. This is also a ratcheting mechanism, and that'll basically tension it up. I've had this thing out in some pretty wicked winds. It's just a very light breeze today, but I've had it out in some pretty wicked winds, and it holds up pretty well. So I do have the optional support poles and the tie-down bags, which you would put like rocks or sand or something in. And I've also got the optional side shade as well. I haven't set that thing up yet, but I haven't had the need to put any of those other components on it because of the wind. I've just done it to basically play around with it. But once I get this set up, this is really all I need my prosthetics for. And I mean, if I was determined enough, I could pull it out without the prosthetics. It just makes it easier. So let me go ahead and take these off. Once I got that set up, then I go to the Rooftop tent. This Rooftop tent is made by Rough Country. I wanted a hard shell tent because the soft shells have a zipper on them, so when you get it folded up, you got to go around with the zipper again. It's just a convenience thing for me because dexterity. So to get this started, I grab this little strap right here, pull it out. So this big long strap is a strap that you would grab to pull this thing shut. It normally would tuck inside, but being as I use this thing as often as I do, it's more of a hassle to tuck it in than not. So I just basically throw it in the back of the truck, put some weight on it so the wind doesn't catch it. My only complaint, one of a couple complaints, the other one I'll mention later, but the first complaint that I would have about this would be the locking system to keep the shell closed. It's just got these little one-way like pull straps that you gotta fish through and cinch them down. I don't like that very much because even if it wasn't for the dexterity limitations, I feel like it's just very inconvenient, especially with all this other rack and stuff in here to contend with. So what I did for now is I found this other short strap that I basically loop underneath these guys on the rack. So if I just pull it down a little bit, I can get it up and over. I mean, it's not like when this thing is unlatched like that, it's going to go flying up on its own. There's a little bit of vacuum pressure in there to begin with, but also it's like the trunk of a SUV or something, that rear hatch, it's lifted by a gas shock, and once you kind of get to that one point, it's either going to go up or it's going to go down, but it's got to go up a couple feet for it to actually want to flip up. But at this point, it's ready to flip up. So I could just jump up here and push it on up. I'll generally pull this guy off to the side so I don't catch it when I'm flipping it down. Little ladder here slides out, lifts up, and then I got the leverage to pull it and open it up. This ladder seems to be obnoxiously long for what it is. I feel like they could have taken a couple sections out, but whatever. Guess it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I said there was a second gripe about this, and this would be it. And I don't know if I'm not understanding something about how this unit works. Perhaps it's me, but this little platform right here is supposed to be level with the platform that's over the bed, because when this folds out, this is the bed, so it's got to be a level surface. And it wants to kind of lift up a little bit, like this right here. That's about level. Got a GoPro in there screaming at me. That's about level right there, and you can see it wants to like lift back up. I don't know. For now, what I found is a solution to that is I got a little strap that I put on here, and I latched it onto the frame of the truck. So I'll do that real quick. That guy on there. Pull a little slack out. Trick is catching the shock bolt right there. Then I can just grab this and tension it down, and that gives me the level platform I'm looking for. And this ladder here provides that downward force resistance, so it's not really going to go in any direction. Suppose I can pull it over here and tension it down a little more. All right, the only other thing I got to do for this tent is put the little poles in there for that rain guard. So these guys are really simple. It's just got that little hook on the one end. Catch onto the ring. And then what I do is I just put it underneath my, like up in my armpit here. Lift this up to find the little hole that it goes into, and then just kind of lean into it as I push it in. there we are. In a matter of just a few minutes, I got my campsite set up, and really the awning isn't necessary either. Just setting this up and I'm ready to camp. It's real convenient. For like a couple weeks ago, I was going through Idaho, and there was a spot that was in the forest, pretty deep in there, that I knew I wanted to stop at and camp for the night, but I knew I was going to be getting there pretty late. Rolled in about midnight, 1 in the morning. So it was pitch black out, and I was so tired. All I wanted to do is just set up and go to sleep. So I had just enough lights from the lights of the truck to flop this out, get up in there, go to sleep. So at this point, if it wasn't the middle of the night and I'm setting up my camp, got my awning up, got this open, now I want to set up a table. This table, I was doing some research on them, trying to find kind of the most durable, but also kind of lightweight, and it packs up small, and it's easy for me to set up and tear down. And I found this one through Cabela's, and I think that's the same company as Bass Pro Shop for those of you on the East Coast. But really, it's simple to set up. Fold the legs up. Usually lean it on there. Opens up, drop it down. Okay. This one piece is a little ways in there, which would bring me to my only complaint about this table. The bag they give you to put it in is awful. Basically, this bag is designed to fit this thing perfectly without any spare room. So you really got to fold it up tight and get it in there just right. And there's enough little parts and pieces to catch that make it really inconvenient. So that's why I don't keep it in the bag. I just throw it in the back of the truck. I use it enough to where whatever. But these little end pieces have these little hook latches on there, which just grab onto these buttons. Then the centerpiece right here drops down. Oh, fuck. So this is a popular spot to come up and go shooting. So a lot of little areas like this, they've pulled up not realizing I was up here, but we're gonna go check out another spot. So that works. Finish this video up. So the top right here, it just unfolds. And on the end here, it just catches on and kind of slides over those little end pieces. This side snaps down. And that's the table. Got my water. Use that for cooking and cleaning. I've got my camp stove here. This camp stove is probably one of the oldest pieces of equipment that I've had. It's made by Camp Chef. Probably the next thing I'm going to upgrade. Not sure what I'm going to do just yet. But I keep this because I've also got those, I forget what they're called, Insta Boils, Insta something, Jet Boil, that's what it is. that's awesome, but it's got this little pot that screws onto the top of the butane tank for boiling water, but it's pretty much useless for anything else. So I keep this for the actual cooking. Just undo these latches here. Oh nice, got some leftover hash browns in there from the last time I used it. Get these little tabs down. And then the latch is closed. The gas fitting screws into the side and it sticks out just enough where I'm able to catch the threads, and just with my residual limbs, help this guy wasn't sliding around. I usually do this on the tailgate, which has got a lot more grip than this tabletop. There we go. And it basically just screws on, and then I just go ahead and screw the gas canister, propane canister, onto there. Got this Milwaukee pack out. I was trying to find the right size unit to fit in that little spot in the back of the truck. This thing's great because it's durable, it's compact, I can move it around easily, and I basically keep all my cooking and cleaning supplies in here. Got my Lugabaloo. So what this is, basically just a standard 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat on it. So if I was in a situation where I needed to use the toilet and this was my only option, I got it. I haven't actually used it for its intended purpose yet, but I keep it with me all the time as kind of my trash, because it's got a latching lid, and as you can see, the toilet seat there, but I got a trash bag in there. And it's great because with this lid that latches, it doesn't matter how windy it gets, it's not going to be blowing my garbage everywhere. So I view it as my trash, but it's got the capabilities of using it as a toilet if I had to. Usually if I'm out on the road, I'll use a gas station or a restaurant. And if I'm out in the desert or in the forest, I'll dig a hole and do it that way. But got that as an option. This next bit of equipment is my kitchen. So how this guy works, I generally don't set this up unless I'm planning to stay at the campsite for an extended period of time, because it is a little bit of a hassle to set up, but for the purpose of this video, I'll go ahead and set it up. So I start by unfolding these first couple bits, which bring the legs down on both sides here. This guy folds out like so. And then this one has the little legs that drop down. Obviously, I'd pick a much more level surface for this, but for the purpose of this demonstration, this will work. So now I just need to undo these latches. Flip that up. keep the paper towels in there, which makes folding it up a little bit trickier, but I make it work because there's a little sink in here. And I've got a bunch of little extra accessories, spice racks, things that hang onto here. It's got a post that goes onto this back here for hanging a lantern. And then it's also got this little bottom wire rack that helps kind of keep it together to give it stability right down here. So this is another Cabela's find. It wasn't cheap, but if I'm setting up camp for an extended period of time or for a group of people, it's really nice to have this kind of dedicated to putting the stove on it and all the dishes and pots and pans, little prep area, so that way you're not using up your table that you would use to eat on. So with the rest of the camp set up, the only thing I got left in here are these two bins. They're made by DeWalt. I was looking for something to put the rest of my gear in that would be not only secure but out of the elements. And I found these at Home Depot. They just so happen to fit side by side perfectly between the wheel wells in this truck. So you notice I've got the traction boards bungeed down to the tops here for quick access to those. For those of you who don't know what those are, that's in the ultra rare event I get into a situation, can't get out of it with four-wheel drive, tires are spinning. Usually that kind of a situation would happen in the winter in the snow and ice. But these have little nubs on them that you can just wedge underneath the tires and it'll help grab and pull you up and out. I've had to use them twice maybe, but it's one of those things that's good to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. I broke the other latch off, but basically inside of the one I keep all of my camping gear. I've got my sleeping bag, my pillows, my extra little mattress covers, and a little pad that I can put down over the dirt. Got all my awning parts and pieces, the extra poles, that extra shade, the sandbags. Keep all that in here. Oops. This guy is a little bit heavier. So in this one, I keep all of my recovery gear. So if I get stuck and I need my tow strap, I need my my tree trunk covers, other kind of rigging equipment I keep in here. It seems kind of inconvenient, but it's kind of the only place that I could find to keep this stuff. It's really not that big of a deal to pull these few things out to get this thing out to get to that. I also keep things like jumper cables, some tools, some power tools in here. I always keep a drill because I've got a drill tire repair kit that basically instead of a hand thing, it just goes on the end of the drill, and I can just put it on slow speed and get the plugs in there to get me back to the tire shop. Got my impact gun for lug nuts on the wheels. This little guy is pretty neat. As I throw it on the ground, a little DeWalt chainsaw for clearing trails in case a tree goes down over it. And that reminds me, I got my DeWalt charger in the truck, and I got a couple batteries I'm going to toss in here real quick. So you may have noticed, maybe not, mounted to the side of the bed, I got a high lift jack That's because this truck's lifted to the point I can't get a regular jack under it. So I've got a little rig on that back hitch so that way I can pick up the whole back end of the truck. Or up in the front, I've got that ARB bumper and it's got a lift point on either side of it to pick up either side and the front individually. As I kick my stool over. I don't need that anyway. I can do this. Much it for my campsite. When I'm ready to pack up and leave, I start with this little kitchen setup. Camp stove lives down here. Milwaukee pack out. Water. And then the Lugabaloo. The table, I'm going to fold that up and just slide it right into that little corner to the side. just like that. And then at this point, I can go ahead and put the rest of this back in the truck. Oh, I'm not going to close that tailgate yet because I need to put that table in there that the camera's on. But the strap I wrapped around the trailer hitch, basically just going to take it and throw it in through this bed rack. Grab it from the inside, pull it through. And then I'll usually put something on it like this pack out box. I'll tuck it underneath so the wind doesn't grab it, pull it out. So again, I'll leave that tailgate down. So the only thing left to do at this point is this canopy. I'm going to show you how cool this thing is. Let me put these guys back on real quick. And part of this is because of the reach. It's just so far up there. Again, short people problems. All right, so what I can do is if I come down here into the unlock, it releases the tension of that ratchet and it basically activates the mechanism inside. So I found if I push these little buttons, they say you can like pull it out to release these buttons, but sometimes I can just kind of push them in. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what it wants to do here. Okay, yeah, so I just pulled it out a little bit. And then basically, it just pulls it nice and tight. The trick is to stay flush with it on both sides. Because once I start getting ski-wampus and letting one side go in faster, then it doesn't work so well. I got to pull it back out. I could tension that up a little bit more, and I might do that. But I'm okay with it the way that it is. I just tuck it in. Usually got to give that side a couple quick taps so I can get this on the other side. Ratchet the mechanism tight. And then put the little buttons on. And that is it. But up on top, you'll notice I got a couple of solar panels. These are Renogy 100 watt solar panels, 2 of them. So I'm bringing in 200 watts. And that is charging this Blue Eddy power station back here. And off of this, I've got my drone batteries charging, got my DeWalt battery for my power tools, Keurig coffee maker, kettle, and I've also got a fridge back here. So this fridge is really nice, keeps things cold. It's running 24/7. A little white thing right there is my LED light strip that I can move around. But I'll show you what I got going on the other side here. So down there, you can kind of see it. Got a microwave. That Blue Eddy runs the microwave as well. And then I got this waterproof bag here. And this waterproof bag is basically my pantry. I keep all my dry goods and foods in there. So when I go out, this thing's loaded. I got the solar charging up that power pack. I got a bunch of water in the back here, right there. And then I got a bunch more water in the cooler and usually another case of it or so around the truck. So when I go out, I could easily be out for probably 2 weeks comfortably before I have any kind of a problem. So I've got this little bin down here. This bin is all of my tire stuff. I've got an air compressor in there, my tire gauges, my air down equipment, because sometimes when I get out off the beaten path, I air the tires down depending on where I'm going, so that allows me to let the air out and then put air back in. But otherwise, I've pretty much honed in on this setup. I'm real happy with it. The truck itself has been phenomenal. And all that I have is all that you gave me.